Welly old well. Mr. Mark Goldbridge has been threatened with legal action by Manchester City. That is right, Mark Goldbridge on YouTube, that YouTuber has been threatened with legal action by Manchester City. Straight out of the horse's mouth. Let's have a listen to that horse.
But I don't think Man City do deserve to win the league. And you'll notice, Man City fans, I don't want to talk about 115 anymore.
Why?
Not because I've been threatened legally.
We cannot say it.
Look at them squirm.
I think it's an irrelevance. I think the 115...
Hang on, we've just done about 4 podcasts where we say it's the big thing we're not talking about.
But you know, when I don't want to be going 115 when Man City win the league. It's there to...
Yeah.
You know, piss off Man City fans and take the shine off the fact that they are the best team in the league.
Oh, that must have... Oh, that you could hear the acid went down his throat. You could hear it, couldn't you? As he had to swallow that sentence. Do you know what I mean? That stung. That did. Because they are the best team in the league, and I've got nothing else that's going to help me sleep at night. How am I going to sleep at night now? I'm not allowed to say 115, 115, 115. I just want to say 115. Now what am I going to do? What's anyone going to do? The general public, of course, they're going to be allowed. So get in the comments with your 115s and you can wipe your asses with them, lads, because absolutely beautiful. A year of this. This is karma at its finest. We've had a year of this as Manchester City fans, listening to the drivel, and he's not the only one, but that's what's hilarious about that is that if he's been targeted, he's on YouTube, mate. I mean, he's insignificant compared to some of the people that have been saying it. So many individuals have been calling us cheats with no evidence that they're available to read. No readily available evidence for these guys. Just pure speculation and agendas driven by jealousy and hatred for Manchester City's achievements on the pitch. That's what all this comes down to, is that pill that they need to swallow to help them sleep at night. And now that pill's turned into a very different type of pill, a medicine being dished out by the lawyers of Manchester City, telling you to zip it, mate, keep it shut, stop talking about Manchester City and calling us cheats, defamation of character. You know, wow, this is going to be an unbelievable moment. And this is just the stepping stone right now, because I do not think it's a coincidence that Alberto Galassi, board member of Manchester City, was recently quoted as of within the week this has happened. So within all this year, we've heard nothing as Manchester City fans, nothing about these charges. And then within the space of a week, we've heard 2 snippets, genuinely juicy snippets, coming out of Alberto Galassi's mouth, a boardroom member at Manchester City, and he was quoted saying, I am not entitled to discuss this. But perhaps you can tell from my body language, I am super confident about the outcome. That's what he was quoted saying. That is a boardroom member of Manchester City. And within the same week, Mark Goldbridge has received notification, a cease and desist to stop talking about the cheats. Stop calling us cheats. Stop it. Stop it, Mark. It's so good. And you know what's even sweeter is he went on to say further things as well in this video.
Forget about the charges, whether they get done or not. If they, let's say Man City don't get anything. It's not get away with it. They don't get found guilty.
There you go. There you go. It slipped that habit. It's a habit now. These guys, everyone who's been saying cheats this and get away with it that, and fraud this, they're going to have to break those habits, because if they're receiving letters along the same lines, or emails, whatever the form of communication is, to tell them to stop talking about it, then they've got to break these habits that they've spent a year getting used to typing in 115, cheats, and saying when Manchester City get away with it, oh no, wait, let me correct myself, because I've got legal action facing me if I continue this sentence. No, if they're found innocent. That's the correct terms, exactly. The justice system, in other words. Absolutely, Mark. And I do not think this is a coincidence, the fact that this has happened within a week. Mark Goldbridge, this is the juiciest bit. I mean, this is basically getting to the point where Manchester City are slipping it out there, because they know full well when they start approaching individuals that are in the public domain, like Mark Goldbridge, information like that is very likely to reach the public domain, as it has done. Mark Goldbridge couldn't wait. He's on microphone. You think he doesn't know the microphone's there? You don't think he doesn't realise the camera's there? He's, I've let it slip. Shall we air that? Yeah, stick it on. Let's see what happens. Yeah, is that what he's doing? He's just winging it, seeing what happens. That was calculated. You know, this is a ploy by Mark Goldbridge now to try and turn it into something about Manchester City silenced Mark Goldbridge. The Freedom of Speech Act is being shot down by Manchester City. No, it's defamation of character, mate. It's slander. You know, you've dragged Manchester City's name through the mud relentlessly for a year, and now comeuppance has absolutely landed at your doorstep, mate. And what did you expect? You know, to be honest, I mean, someone of his privileged position is an honoured position to be in his position to have 1 million subscribers on multiple platforms to spout this nonsense. That's why. The success comes with the risk at the same time. You've got to be cautious when you reach that level, Mark. Just little old me, I can say what I want down here. No one's listening. No one's listening. Doesn't matter. You know, I can say what I want. Up there, mate, you better watch what you fucking say. You've got to watch your mouth when you speak to people of such quantities like that, you know, and you're spouting lies and nonsense like that. This is what happens. Now, if this isn't proof, I don't know what is. Now, these are the rumours that have all been seeping out, and this is something I've been doing on this channel relentlessly defending this club's name. One of the few, to be honest, shameful that I am still one of the few. Now, of course, you're going to see multiple City fans now getting excited a little bit and jumping on the bandwagon that we're innocent. Good. Where have you guys been for the last year? Good. Come on board. It's all fun on here. Don't worry about it. It's great fun. You won't fall off. Don't worry. You'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. And when we get to the end of our train station journey, then we can laugh when we get to that stop and laugh at these people that have been making up this absolute drivel to help them sleep at night. The accusations and the cheats and the falsifying of documentation and fraudulent things like that. And the consistent slander from so many people. And it is just because of the success. That's what it all boils down to at the end of the day, the success that Manchester City have had on the field. Now, what are the repercussions going to be for Mark? I imagine now he's got to tread very carefully through every single one of his videos now, to the point where he's going to have to stop and think, something he very rarely seems to do when he's speaking on his YouTube channel. But now that he's got to stop and think, it's going to be really interesting to see how much he delves into the topic of the charges, you know. And there's a few other channels out there that, while they're not as big as Mark, you know, City might have them in the scope, and that's the point. If they're targeting Mark Goldbridge, just think of all the high-end journalists that have been saying this, the high-end representatives of companies, people like Sefrin at UEFA, and people that have made comments about Manchester City at a ridiculously high level. You know, even government officials have been saying such things. You know, former Premier League board members. So many people. There aren't many quite as consistent as Mark. To be fair to the guy, hats off to Mark. He's made a living off it for the last year. That's got to come to an end now. You've got to find something else to talk about. Maybe how shit Manchester United have been. That would be ideal to talk about on that. And that's football. I'm sure he does that on the United stand, because, I mean, it's a one-way street, isn't it, really, on there? That topic is the only thing you can talk about, surely, on a United channel. But that's football. Will be interesting to see now if he speaks about the charges, and it'll be interesting to see if the general murmuring of other YouTube channels start to quieten down a little bit. It's going to be interesting. Blues, get in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts. Like and subscribe to Typical City, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is